Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani has faulted the judiciary for what he terms as interventions which undermined his efforts to ramp up Kenya's domestic revenue and cut back on borrowing. In his last address from the 14th floor of the National Treasury building, Yatani said that Kenya's ability to cross the 2 trillion shillings tax revenue mark in the last financial year set the stage for his successor, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, to help Kenya balance its budget. Judith Cherono has that report.
Curtains have fallen on Ukur Yatani's 51 months as the man in charge of Kenya's economic policy, a stint that has been characterized by a wave of considerable shocks, including the COVID-19 pandemic, which plunged Kenya's economy in its first recession in about 2 decades, and spillovers from the war between Russia and Ukraine, which have now sent inflation to a high last witnessed 5 years ago.
Cherono, they are many, so I don't know which
In his final address, Yatani took aim at the judiciary, which he accuses of undermining the executive's efforts to ramp up domestic revenue and scale back on borrowing. The judiciary has in the recent past halted the implementation of new tax measures, including minimum tax as well as inflation adjustment of excise tax on petroleum products in financial year 2021-2022.
Sometimes, we come up with laws that's going to increase the size of our basket by coming up with finance bill that's going to realize more revenue to enable us, manage our budget so that there will be no need for us to borrow. But then occasionally we have hiccups from some of the judges that they are either annulled, they're either done away with, and therefore that works against our projections to be autonomous.
Yatani, however, says that the growth in tax revenue under his leadership should allow his successor, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, to realize a balanced budget where revenues and expenditure balance out and the country has no need for borrowing.
The import of that is that we are going to have working towards a balanced budget. When we now work towards a balanced budget, therefore there wouldn't be any need for us to borrow. Because Kenyans are concerned, and they're generally concerned, the government must live within its budget by generating its own revenue and then managing its own expenditure.
Kenya is now among the most respected economies in the world simply because it has never defaulted on any loan and that it has now moved from lower middle income to upper lower economy.
It was not a health crisis.
Judith Cherono, NTV Business.